Hello,
Hello.
hello.
All right. Yeah, I've just finished playing my matches, I guess, and now I'm in the commentary booth. Been a while for me. Hey, Bob, how are you?
Doing well, doing well. Really happy to be here with you, Patrick.
Thank you.
I'm excited to see some Legacy. This was the one match I really wanted to commentate. So it's Blue, White, Red Control against Death and Taxes. Do you have any experience with, either deck?
Not really. Like those are both decks that I never played before. I
Uh-huh.
never really liked the blue-white control decks, so I never played Miracles. And
Yeah.
but I do like Death and Taxes. I've always been like sort of a tempo guy, so I either play Delver decks or I play Show and Tell, which I just did. And
hmm
I mean, obviously, I've played against those deck a lot of times, but I have no experience playing that matchup myself.
Gotcha. Yeah, well, so Anuraag, used to play a lot of Miracles, and like, I guess he has, his loyal fan base, so he wanted to please them. So he decided to keep playing Blue-White Control, even though, it's very unclear if it's still good.
Yeah,
So I think so he beat you, so it's at least playable. I think this is probably his hardest matchup, just because
most
Death and
likely.
Taxes have so many good ways to like attack control decks. Like Ether Vial is a huge problem, Thalia is a huge problem.
Yeah,
It
there's
just
Cavern of Swords and some other
yeah,
stuff.
exactly. I don't know if Michael's still playing that, but like Thalia Caracas is a problem, and like
Hmm.
Miracles was able to beat Death and Taxes because it was the best control deck of all time. I don't know
Yeah,
if Anurag's going to have the tools to do it, but if anybody can pull through, it's going to be him.
yeah, most likely. I mean, after all, Supreme Verdict is not quite Terminus, so yeah, we're gonna wait and see. And yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know if the
exactly.
deck's
Not
good
being
yet.
able to wrap that instant speed.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like both players are about to get started. Anurag's hand is fine. You have the mana, which is like the first step to beating Death and Taxes, is being able to cast your spells. Um, Michael's hand's pretty so-so. Like I like Port, um, but that's like the only card in the hand that's like really that good. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a mulligan. Like Canopies just like draws another card, so it's not horrible, but Swords is pretty bad. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see what he does.
yeah. I I think both those hands could need a little work. Yeah, Anurang does have the lands, but I mean, he really needs to find some stuff with the Ponder, and Ponder's hand is also not great. Yeah, that's right. I mean, he gets a lot of value out of his lands, but he doesn't really have the tools necessary. Like, there's no Ether Vial, there's no Thalia. Yeah, I mean, I think a mulligan on both sides, but especially on Michael's side, would be justified. But I think they both kept, right? Yeah.
I guess so.
But then again, I mulligan quite aggressively, so that just might just be me.
Yeah, it's so interesting how like certain Magic players just approach mulliganing differently.
Yeah,
I try never to mulligan, and Anurag's the
yeah,
same way. So I knew Anurag wasn't going to mulligan, and obviously he draws one more
yeah.
land. So
Uh, I mean, well, Battlescar is an awful draw for Bonde, but I mean, force this. I think he has to force that, right? But no, decides not to.
we'll see. It depends
Yeah,
what he pondered into. Like he might have found like
yeah,
a Source of
the-
Plowshares or something.
yeah.
So
The partner
Source
was
would be his best draw.
yeah, the partner was pretty fast. I think I missed that.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't know if we get to see the cards he looks at.
Oh, okay, okay,
I don't think we saw.
okay. Yeah, but I mean, Stoneforge Mystic is going to be a problem. I mean, he has one more shot at finding Swords of Plowshare, I guess. And
hmm
if not, there's a Batterskull in play, and that is a big
Okay, so
deal.
it looks like he's preordained. I think you could say Jace and Verdict on the corner of the screen.
Yeah,
Um, so okay, so it looks he kept the Verdict. I'm not sure if he kept the Jace or not.
yeah. Verdict does look pretty good on this board. I mean, bonus draw is rather slow. He doesn't have any taxing effects like Thalia, so turn
hmm
four Supreme Verdict is still quite good. I mean, he does have Richard on port, so it's probably turn five. But I mean, Unrock does have the mana to cast it at least.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting because like as you said, it's gonna be turn five, but then Michael
Yeah,
might be up a whole bunch of cards by then because he
yeah,
has Sword of Fire and Ice.
yeah. And it might be even later if Anuraag does get a non-basic land because of Wasteland.
Hmm. Yeah, I think Anuraag probably knows to play around Wasteland,
Yeah,
so I'd be surprised.
probably. I mean, he's probably going for basics. I mean, there's
Yeah,
like
he gets so many lands in his hand
yeah,
anyways, so I
exactly.
think he's deciding if he wants to flashback Preordain or Ponder here.
Yeah, I mean, with another shuffle effect, I would say Ponder, but they they're equally good, I'd say. So
Hmm. So it looks like he's definitely going for one of them.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it's weird. With no immediate shuffle, I think Preordain's
yeah,
a little bit better. So we'll see if he feels the same
yeah,
way.
that makes sense. I mean, Ponder is a little bit more of a high roll. I mean, you look a little
Uh-huh.
deep, you get a little more info, and if all those three cards are good, but
So it looks
those,
like Brainstorm, Ponder, Volcanic. I think he's just. I
I
mean,
think you
it's
have
not
the pieces.
horrible because he can like.
Yeah, but just because of the brainstorm, right? With so many lands,
Right,
but
exactly. Yeah, with the Brainstorm, and he can keep digging for like Swords to
yeah,
Plowshares to clean up after he verdicts,
yeah.
because he's definitely gonna get to verdict, but it looks like
He chose to
Bonde is
shuffle,
gonna
right?
draw some cards for sure. So
It looks like he chose to shuffle, yeah? Yeah,
yeah, he shuffled.
yeah,
Um, so he's gonna get in and then start porting Anurag, and then he's gonna get in for 5 damage, draw a card. So that's really strong.
yeah,
And like even if Anurag verdicts, it's only a 2-for-1, and then he already got the value out of the sword, so it's not really looking good for him.
yeah. Swords Plowshare is not really an out anymore because of Mother of Runes.
Hmm.
Uh, so
Yeah, so he
yeah,
needs the
it's looking rough.
verdict and then find like another Swords of Plowshare. Oh, another port is horrible
Yeah,
for Anurag. Yeah,
yeah.
it's really bad.
He won't get to wipe the board in time, and he's probably just dying before he gets to play almost anything. But we'll see.
Yeah, it looks like he's aggressively playing the Snapcaster to
Yeah,
preordain now.
I mean, I guess he could cast Swords to Plowshare on his own Snapcaster Mage just to gain some life and survive. But I mean, this is obviously not getting him anywhere.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah,
See if the preordain finds anything. Another Supreme Verdict is good, so he probably just keeps that.
I don't know. I mean, right now, I mean, he probably realizes that his problem is not like not having access to Supreme Verdict, but like not never getting to Castle, right? But he chose to keep it.
Well, so for Anurag doesn't know about the second port, so he
Yeah.
thinks he can cast the first verdict next turn.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. You're right.
Yeah. Um, but given that he does have the second port, how's the math going to work out? So he's going to go down to 9 this turn, and then
Mm-hmm.
still not cast verdict, and then go to 4. So he's still going to be able to cast both verdicts probably.
Yeah.
It's just that he's probably going to be too far behind on life and cards.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think Michael definitely suspects one verdict and probably suspects like another removal spell, whether it's verdict or plow.
Yeah, probably. I was just like thinking if there's anything else that gets Anurag out of this. Like, I was trying to like go through his deck list, and I mean, there's a Swords to Plowshare, but right now he can't really use it. But it's going to be good after he wipes the board several times.
Hmm.
So he might still do it, but
All right, looks like he's getting in some beatdowns. Why not? Michael's probably just going to take it here. He doesn't really care.
yeah, probably not. I mean, like I think he was already thinking about like making that attack last turn, and
Hmm.
since Michael probably had to respect the Swords to Plowshare, but he decided against it,
I think
and
last turn he might not have had the mana to bluff, or did he? I don't remember.
he still had the mana to bluff last turn.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he went for like Michael activated the Rishadan port. He played Snapcaster Mage to Flashback Ponder, and
Okay, so he had
then he
one
played a
more
land.
mana after the
Yeah,
ponder. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's right.
that's weird. We went silent.
Let me fix my light while we're waiting, I guess.
Hey, we can see you.
Looks like we're like frozen on stream too, or
Yeah.
or on the Skype. Okay, now looks okay. Now we're back. Okay. Now that light's like.
Yeah, I think the problem is that the light comes from the back, so there's always a shade on your
Yeah,
face.
I guess I should
I'm not-
move to the other side.
Yeah.
And I can turn up that light maybe. Ugh. All right, I'll turn that light off.
That was much better. Yeah.
All right, that's fine.
So, are we back?
Are we back? Are we back?
Hello.
All right. All right. So now it looks like it's Michael's turn, or no? What's happening?
I don't know.
Okay, so it looks like it's Anuraag's upkeep again, and then he's
Yeah.
boarding him, and then we're gonna see a Supreme Verdict, and then
How many? Does Michael know, or do you know how many planes Anuraag does play?
um I'm not sure, but I guess you can get a Tundra.
If he only plays one, he could go for tap Flooded Strand, and then he has to go for Tundra, play Wasteland the Tundra, and tap the other white source. So he only has he can only play one more white source, and then he can't
Okay.
even play the Supreme Verdict. But I
Yeah,
don't know
that's
if he has
true.
more than one plane. So
I'm pretty sure he does.
yeah,
It's yeah. Yeah, he plays two, it looks like.
yeah, he plays two. Did he just fetch for one? Okay, yeah. Okay, he got two planes. Then this was not an option. I mean, with this many lands in Bonde's hand, Anuraag might still come back.
Anuraag just punted so badly.
Oh no!
I actually heard him visibly scream in his room.
Yeah,
So you want to explain what he just did?
yeah. He played the Chandra, like he kept it in his hand so that Michael can't use his Wasteland, and then he played it and thought, hey, why not get 2 damage in with the Snapcaster Matrix? But there was still the Wasteland in place, so well, Supreme Verdict is not an instant, and we are not right now in the attacker step. Well, see a Tundra, and there's not
Yeah, I
going to
think
be a Supreme Verdict.
so I guess he won't even get to cast both verdicts. Honestly, if he cast the first verdict, well, what he should have done was held the Tundra, got in for four, and then played the verdict.
Yeah,
And if he did do that, he's actually not in the worst position because Michael's hand is honestly not that good.
yeah,
It's
this is
like
what I
two
was talking about.
Revokers, and like they don't really do that much, and he could have cleaned them up with the last verdict. So this is a pretty big mistake from Monrog.
Yeah.
But obviously you can see what he was thinking, and I think he's still not used to playing, a crappy sorcery speed Wrath. Um, so he just like wasn't like ready.
Yeah, I wasn't
Um,
paying attention.
so now he's trying to figure out if he can survive another turn. And I
Oh,
think if Michael never uses, well,
another
okay, so
runes.
so it looks like his plan now is to plow something. He'll activate the Mother of Runes, and then he'll ponder for another Swords of Plowshares. So it looks like that's his like
Yeah,
out.
this is only out, right?
Yeah, because he needs to use the white mana or he loses it. So he just needs to play the Swords of Plowshares. Um, I mean, he could
Yeah,
gain a life, gain 2 life.
yeah, but that's
Um,
not enough.
it would mean that Michael would need to attack with the Mother of Runes.
Why
But
exactly? He will go up to 5, and then Stoneforge Mystic hits for free, and Sword of Fire and Ice triggers another 2, so that's 5.
oh yeah, it's, Stoneforge is
Yeah,
5. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
yeah, yeah. I think Anurag might have just killed himself. I think it was actually in a reasonable spot because, as we talked about, like Michael's hand is not that good. So if there
Mhm.
like if Anuraag does draw a Jace or something like that, he could have easily made it back into the game, but that way
Yeah.
it's going to be Michael in the lead.
All right, let's see how they move to the sideboard. Um, so yeah, this is one of the games where Michael didn't even have Ether Vial, and when you
Yeah,
have Ether Vial, things are like way harder. So that's why I think this matchup's like pretty difficult. Looks like Anurag's boarding out potentially his counter spells and spell snare,
yeah, that
just because
makes
they don't
sense.
line up well against Ether Vial. Um, and looks like Michael's bringing in some of his anti-control cards. Like I would definitely expect
I mean,
Gideon,
yeah,
and I
Gideon
think
is good.
yeah, I think because Anurag plays like I think Anurag plays four Jace, so honestly,
Uh,
Pithing Needle's not that bad either.
yeah, it makes sense.
Um, because Jace
And
is really the way that Anurag like closes out in this matchup.
do you think he's going to bring in something like Conscious Judgment?
I'm not sure. So
I
like
mean,
the targets you want to hit are like Batter Skull and Jace basically.
yeah, that's
So he
right.
might want to like sides out some swords and then still have something for like Stoneforge. And it looks like he
Yeah,
did take out all four swords of plowshares.
yeah, that's what I
So
was thinking about, that he might replace the swords with like Conscious Judgment, which is at least a little better at hitting something. But he
mhm.
might also just go without any removal. We'll see.
Yeah. He looks like he's boarding out a Jute.
Yeah.
Um okay, so yeah, he needs five more cards, so he's trying to pick and choose between them.
Hmm.
He's on the draw, so he's okay with boarding out a land. And the
Yeah.
second Caracas is, like a dead card, so
Yeah, that makes sense. You think he's gonna sideboard in the 6 cards that he laid out over there, like the Fairy Macabre, the Gideon, the Mirren Crusader, and so on and so forth? Or was that just by coincidence that he had those cards over there? Oh no, he brought them all in. Yeah.
yeah, I'd be surprised if he brought in Fairy Macabre, but it looks like he brought in some Palace Jailers just to like draw cards,
Yeah.
and
I
it
mean,
also kills creatures. So
it's not that terrible, right? I mean, Fairy Macabre. Anuraag does play 4 Snapcaster Mages,
uh-huh.
and Snapcaster Mages and Ambush Viper is not that impressive. So I mean, it's not the end of, like, not the worst thing to deny a Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the worst. You're still getting a card out of it kind of, but
Yeah,
it depends. In like some situations it can be a blowout, and in other situations like it could be a dead
yeah,
card. So it's
yeah,
pretty high risk. So looks
yeah,
like Michael didn't bring it in.
yeah, makes sense.
Um, all right, so Honorog's on the play. Looks like he already mulliganed. Um,
No, he
we'll
did not
see.
mulligan just yet. At least the game state says that he has 7 cards in hand. Maybe we're just not seeing the card to the left.
Okay. Yeah, so we can't see the last card.
Yeah,
Okay.
and both players kept again, and there's no Ether Vial for Michael. So
Yeah.
pretty slow draw for him, I
But
believe.
yeah, but you did see that Honorog's hand is a little bit telling of some weakness. He led with a non-basic, so that's always not where you want to be. And Michael
Yeah,
drew a a ether vial, and Honorog didn't even think, he just force willed it. So
yeah, makes sense. Just such a powerful card against
yeah,
him.
even though he had the engineered explosives in his hand, he was still like, no, this is going to be too much of an mana advantage for him by the time I get my engineered explosives online.
Yeah, I mean, there's
Um,
just so many like terrible things going on with Ether Vial for a control deck. I think you just have to
yeah.
force it. Yeah.
So now Anurag's deciding if he wants the Swords of Plowshares, the Thalia, or he can wait a little bit and then he'll have like Pyroclasm, Engineered Explosives. Um, okay, so it's like two things here. He respected the Thalia enough that he decided that he would go ahead and Swords of Plowshares, but now he doesn't have red mana.
Yeah.
So he was also showing a respect for Wasteland. So we'll see how this works out. Okay, so the
Yeah.
disenchant's a good answer for the equipment that Michael gets here.
You think he would like? It's pretty unfortunate that he drew that disenchant now. He probably would have loved to just
Yeah,
cast
keep it for
disenchant
the
on the
force.
yeah, and
Yeah.
just disenchant the Ether Vial. But at least he found the mountain, so Pyroclasm is live and
Hmm.
Engineered Explosives for free. Should he need that? I mean, looking at Michael's hand right now, Engineered Explosive for free does actually look quite good.
Hmm. think Anuraag's draws have been pretty good. He's been drawing the mana he needs. He has 3
Uh-huh.
removal spells. So he just needs Michael to play out his hand, then he can answer everything, and then follow up with a Jace would be ideal.
Yeah, I mean, Recruiter of the God together with Flicker Wisp is gonna generate a ton of value. So I I don't know if things will go right for Anurag if he just lets Michael play out his hand. Like, I mean, right now he has some answers to the stuff that Michael's doing, but Michael's always gonna get some value out of it.
Hmm. That's true. You're seeing the whole Stoneforge, Flicker Wisp, and then soon you
Mm-hmm.
can see like Flicker Wisp Recruiter. So yeah, that's just a ton of card advantage.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we'll see.
Oh, there's Anurag's Stoneforge Mystic, and that's a pretty good draw for him because he can pair it with Pyroclasm and like go on the offense himself.
Right.
Although Flicker Wisp is also a pretty good answer for Batterskull, so we'll see. And he's probably just gonna wipe the board now and play his own Stoneforge Mystic, right? I mean, I think he has to. Yeah. There's another Wasteland that is 4th mana. Does it change something for him?
Okay, so I wonder what Michael's going for. Interesting. Okay, so he's actually going. I would assume he's choosing 1.
I would have
Um,
said 4, but
oh really? Okay, so
I
you were
mean,
right.
it was unfair because I already saw the 4, but I also thought that 4 is
Uh-huh.
probably a high effect.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think a Jace here would just win
Yeah,
Anurag the game.
yeah,
So I
exactly.
think he was like, I still have cards in my hand to play. I'd rather not lose the game right here. So I'm going to play Sanctum Prelate.
Hmm.
So pretty heads up play from Michael.
And that Batterskull might actually become a big problem for Michael because Michael doesn't have access to Batterskull anymore. His one was destroyed by Disenchant.
Hmm.
So if this game goes really, really long, um, the player having access to Batterskull is usually in a good spot. So you'll see.
Yeah. Um, that being said, he does have some cards to buy time. Like you mentioned earlier, he has Flicker Wisp for the
Hmm.
Germ. And then like if he gets Flicker Wisp Sword going, he can draw into an answer.
Yeah,
So like
but he does
we'll
not
see.
have that many answers left in his deck because he sideboarded them all out.
That's
But
true. He has Council's Judgment,
yeah,
and then maybe Palace Jailer. Yeah, we'll see.
it's always just temporary answers. So as I said, like if this game goes really, really long, like we're not quite at that point yet, but
So look at this. It's a pretty sharp play from Michael because now um, Anurag can't even Snapcaster Pyroclasm if he wanted to.
yeah, yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, don't think that Swords to Plowshare is any good in this spot, or if he had it, he would have cast it anyway. So yeah, taking the red source definitely does make sense. Phyrexian Revoker is a good answer to Batterskull. Completely forgot about that. Silly me.
Okay, so here he's doing it on his turn to play around Counterspell.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what he goes for here. I guess it could be the Revoker, and then the next turn he could,
I think he might
or
be.
he might be just going for the Flicker Wisp map.
Yeah, I
I
was
don't
about
know.
to say that. I think he goes for the Flicker Wisp now because Anurag doesn't have the mana to bounce back the Batterskull to his hand. And so this is going to delay him by a lot. And by the time that he could put the Batterskull back into play, Bonde is going to attack with a Flicker Wisp that is equipped with Sword of Fire and Ice. So
Hmm.
I think he's most likely going for the Flicker Wisp here, but we'll see.
Okay, so then Anurag is probably going to swords the Sanctum Prelate, I think. So then if he draws Jace, he can win.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
I mean, he has to deal with that at some point anyway. So yeah, but it does make sense to kill it now.
And it does look like Michael kept in all his equipment too, so.
Hmm. Yeah, he took out the GTA for a moment, but before he I think he was pondering to put in either Fairy Macabre or GTA and decided to keep GTA.
Mhm. So Anuraag is also on 5 mana, so like you can just equip Batterskull too.
He does not have 5 right now, right? He has
Yeah, he's
4
one
mana, right?
short. He's one
Yeah,
short. So I'm saying if he draws a land, he can do
yeah.
that. And then the Revoker would like probably still not be good enough.
Uh,
But yeah, once he hits 5 mana, that's the magic
yeah,
number. You have
yeah.
Stoneforge, Batterskull. It's kind of hard to disassemble the combo.
Hmm.
So
I mean,
Anuraag's deciding which of swords.
I think it has to be.
He knows about the Sword of Fire and
Yeah,
Ice. But Michael can still just cast the Sword of Fire and Ice. But it looks like he's still going for that. He doesn't have the Jace in his hand. So maybe his
interesting.
logic is like if Michael needs to pay more mana, then that's good for him. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure with that. I can see why he did that, but I think he has to kill that
Well, okay, so
Sunken
I think the
Grenade at
reason
some
he did
point,
that
right?
was because of engineered explosives, so he can put it on 3, right?
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's true. I was even talking about engine explosives earlier.
Yeah,
I missed it. Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
And
But that's gonna play right into Revoker too, so we'll see. We'll see if he goes for it.
I mean, I think he's gonna wait. If he does know about the Swords of Fire and Ice, right? So he's just gonna um wait for Michael
Oh
to
yeah,
like
that would
play
be like a
everything.
really big blowout
Yeah,
if he gets a three
yeah,
for one. Yeah. And like he has enough life so he can take like one hit,
yeah. I think
probably
that's
get in for
what he's
two.
gonna do.
Yeah. Well, if he gets in for two, then he can't block the prelate. So okay.
Although, I mean, there's also some appeal to going for GTA, and now that he top decked the Gideon, he might actually just go for the Gideon. But no, it's going to be GTA.
Okay. And Honor I actually didn't know about that card, so
Yeah, he didn't know about that card.
Jujutsu's gonna be really good here.
Yeah,
It's gonna
I think
clean
the
up
way
the
that he,
Stone Forge Mystic, and then the Batterskull is gonna be much worse.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think he was hoping for Michael to go for the Sword of Fire and Ice. Like that would
Right,
have been such a
because he was
huge
setting up
blowout.
the EE.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably going to be brainstorm. So not brainstorm, and oh, he just returned to Battleskull.
Um.
I wonder why he did that now.
So I think he's probably not planning on casting his brainstorm then.
Yeah, probably not. At first, I thought he would be going for like a just brainstorm
Brainstorm
in the
for
dark.
an answer. Yeah.
Yeah, but thought better of it and just bounced the Battleskull.
Yeah.
And I think Michael would be wise to kill the Stoneforge Mystic here now that now that Anuraag can activate it, but he decided against it. Interesting. Thought that this would have been
Yeah,
pretty good tempo
this
play
is a
for
weird
him.
situation.
Yeah,
Um, so if I'm Anurag here, like I don't hate just blowing up his creatures, but I guess Anurag's just trying to tag the sword. But okay, I guess Anurag drew Swords of Plowshare, so there's no. Oh, okay, looks like he's still casting the
yeah.
E. Um, okay,
That's
so I guess
interesting.
that's his game plan now.
Yeah,
He's gonna blow up his two creatures. There's no reason like. Well, he's not going to let him get two more counters on the GTA, so it doesn't really matter if he does it now or later. He's definitely going to do it before the damage happens.
yeah.
Um,
I think it's interesting that he chose this line. Like, this is, I mean, as I said, I don't have as much experience as those guys do have with their respective decks,
mhm.
but I think right now I would have went for Batterskull, but then again, I have a huge bias towards Batterskull. I just love that card. I played with it a lot in Modern, and it's just so good.
Mhm.
And I think it would have made sense to like put Batterskull into play and answer the flicker with Swords to Plowshare. But I mean, this line is also quite powerful, of course. Like, got to clear the board, but now Gideon does resolve, which Anurag
Yeah,
didn't know about, of course. But it's going to be a big problem. Planeswalkers against control decks.
So what can he do? He can, I guess he can like plow the knight and get in for 2, but that's not going to be enough.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so Jace is great. It's a really lucky draw. So he can unsummon the token, get in for 2, and then plow his next creature, and then unsummon and hopefully kill Gideon, maybe.
Well, he can also just. I mean, Michael would be wise not to try and kill the Jace with Gideon, but if he does that, towards the Plowshare, it does also answer the Gideon. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
that would be like
Yeah, that would be the
that would
dream
be very,
scenario.
very good for Anuraag. Yeah.
But yeah,
But
Jace was.
you've seen Michael play around like all sorts of cards, so I'd be
Yeah,
surprised if he didn't play around sorts of plowshares.
yeah. I mean, a never-ending stream of 2/2s is gonna get there eventually as well.
Yeah. We'll see if Anuraag takes the Jace line. Like
Yeah,
his other line is to play Batterskull and then just start attacking every turn, or he could play Batterskull this turn, and then start attacking Gideon every turn, and then turn after, like next turn he still gets to cast Jace on summon.
yeah.
Um,
I, th- I
so like
think
both
that
lines are very, very powerful, and
yeah,
he's trying to decide which one's better.
I think that Battlescar window is now closed. Like it's just too late for that. Like if he does play Battlescar now, he basically doesn't do anything for a turn, and there's going to be a bunch of creatures in play. He knows about Michael's equipments, and
Hmm.
I mean this way he's very like it's very likely that he gets another activation out of Jace, if not for the Phyrexian Revoker.
Hmm.
So actually, yeah, there's still
So
this line.
interesting, during his upkeep, he's porting him. Um, so actually, I didn't see this line from Michael. So now his Gideon can kill
Yeah,
Jace, and then he gets to play like another creature, or another 2 creatures now. So
I always have to double check this Richard Ford. I have never seen this artwork before. I completely forgot about it.
you know what's funny, that Rashidon port it's like a Judge promo. It
Yeah,
reminds me a little bit of like an Emrakul. You see like an Emrakul in the distance. You see that?
yeah, I see that thing, but
I don't know. It's obviously not an Emrakul, but
no, it's
it looks
just
kind of like Emrakul to me.
yeah, it's just a plateau or something like that, or a tower, something like that. But Amrakul has a similar shape. That's right.
Oh, and he equipped the GT too.
Yeah,
So Gideon with a GT taking down Jace.
yeah. I did not see that line because of
Uh,
like
I think it's because he's like not sure he wants to revoke her yet. Like he knows about the Batterskull, but if Anurag has another Jace, then he would rather revoke her that. Plus, just getting 2 counters on the GT
yeah.
means that like Anurag can't like have Stoneforge active. So yeah.
I'm feeling silly now that I didn't see that, but I was completely not aware that there's Richard Ford in play. But yeah, well played by Michael, like for sure.
Yeah, he's
That was
he's
a
top 8
complete
at GP
blowout.
with this deck. He knows how to
Yeah,
play it.
yeah. It was like an onboard blowout, but it's well played. And now the window's closing for Anurag, I believe. Like Gideon being active for so many turns is not only good in standard, it's also quite good in legacy, as it seems.
Mhm. Let's see. So he'll have Snap Plow, and then this is interesting. He's like considering shuffling away the Batterskull and keeping a Spell Snare. The Batterskull is really powerful here too.
Um,
So we'll see. He might just try not to shuffle it away, but if he has to, he will.
I mean, yeah, he has to keep one of the lands, and I don't think that Spellsnare is going to be useful anymore. So, I mean,
Right.
there's Cavern of Souls in play.
Uh,
Um, there is the GT in play already. So I think I would shuffle away the Spellsnare because the Batterskull just has a much higher upside. And yeah,
right.
that's
And looks
also
like
what
he
Anurag
agrees with you.
decided to do. Yeah,
So he's gonna attack Gideon. I think Michael's gonna protect it. Yep.
yeah,
So So the GTA is actually really good because you see like it protects against Snapcaster Mage really well
hmm
too as well. So that was the reason he went for it there, was he's like, okay, just if my Gideon survives, then I can't lose. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Gideon is just such a beat, like basically any planeswalker, of course, but especially Gideon is just such a beating against control decks. Like
Hmm.
this never-ending stream of creatures, large attacker. It's really good, of course.
Palace Jailer, nice.
Yeah, it's gonna become the Monarch.
It's uncounterable too.
Yeah, that's right. It's human, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And it's gonna be really hard for Anuraag to steal back the Monarch just because Michael, he has all these creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the GT's out, so if he is able to get 2 more counters on it next turn, then it's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
really hard.
Yeah, I think window might be closing fast here for Anuraag. I mean, looking at his deck list, there's not that many tools that can bring him back. Like, he doesn't have Through the Breach Emrakul. And I mean, he can go for Battlescar now, and that's gonna keep him away from dying. But I mean, Palace Jailer is just gonna take care of the Germ token,
Yeah.
and
So, oh wow, he even drew Council's Judgment,
yeah,
but he's just gonna Palace Jailer so he can start drawing cards. He's gonna start porting, and this turn we'll see if he makes a creature. I wouldn't be surprised to see him just get in some
yeah,
damage here in
I
case
think he's
he's
just gonna
bringing
attack
up
for 5.
Verdict.
Yeah.
Um, although he can play around Verdict by porting the planes, so we'll see what he does.
I mean,
Okay,
I
he
think you
does.
just want
He
to
does.
close out the game quickly now. So
Yeah.
yeah, and as you said, yeah, he's not going to equip the GT so that he has Rishadan port open, and it's just going to tap down planes. And I mean, even if he, oh no, actually, Supreme Verdict would make him survive one more turn, but no, there's sort of Fire Knife, so he would still have lethal. But yeah, I think Anurag might be drawing that here. I mean,
So he ports the planes. Depends. He could draw like Verdict,
mm,
White Source.
yeah,
But then,
but
he
that's still
still
lethal.
needs something for the Gideon, so
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know.
he decides to go for the mountain. Mm. What red spells is Anurag playing? He has
Just
Pyroclasm.
Pyroclasm.
Yeah, just Pyroclasm and Engine Explosive. Yeah.
So maybe somehow he has the read. Anurag has Snapcaster in his hand. Um, and I guess like if Anurag spends 4 mana playing Verdict, then he's like never gonna be able to play.
Yeah.
He's probably not gonna be able to play another creature. And so he's happy just like drawing 2 cards a turn, Gideon
Mm,
every turn. So he's okay with Verdict here. I guess
yeah.
I guess he's okay with Pyroclasm here too.
Yeah.
So I guess it doesn't
No,
make a difference.
it doesn't make a big difference. No, I mean, as I said, like just wiping the board doesn't help him. It's still going to be lethal with the Swords of Fire and Ice. I mean, I think if you would end up wiping the board, I would just continue making tokens just to not run into Swords of Plowshare. But Sagite, and I think you don't play the Swords of Fire and Ice here. I think he's just going to attack and have double Rishad on port next turn. There's another ally coming into play.
Yeah. This is really, really well played by Michael.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. It's well played for sure.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 damage. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's not. What's like sad is like Anurag can Swords to Plowshare something, but there's nothing good to Swords to Plowshares. Like the
Yeah,
Palace Jailer, how it works is even if you kill it, you're still the Monarch. You need to deal damage to your opponent, which is not going to happen. So basically, Swords to Plowshare is just like gain 2 life. I mean, I think he might still need to do it, or he might be like, well, the damage doesn't really matter. I need to just pray that I top deck Verdict, and then the next turn I'll have Snapcaster for Gideon.
mm-hmm.
So maybe that's what he's thinking.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not gonna get to cast anything because of that double Rishad on port, which he knows about because they're both in play. So yeah, as I said, like trying to figure out if I mean right now Supreme Verdict is definitely not enough anymore, and
Yeah, I mean he might be able to survive 1 or 2 more turns, but it's just
mhm.
I don't think there are any real cards that get him out of this.
I mean, I guess if it wasn't for the conscious judgment in Michael's hand, he could just bounce Battleskull and play it again to have a jump blocker, gain 4 life. But even that would still be lethal, I believe. We'll see. Didn't do the
Okay,
math.
so it looks like he's electing to port instead of play anything.
Yeah, that makes sense. Respawn is fetch. And I think he has to go for a non-basic land, right?
I think he's almost...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he probably should have fetched in his main phase, because now Michael also gets to use his wasteland.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Did he know the top cards of his library? If he did, then it makes sense to fetch. But if he didn't, then...
I don't think so, no.
Okay, so how much mana does he have? Okay, so he's going to return
8.
Batterskull and play Batterskull.
Yeah.
So that's the reason he's doing it now. So actually, it is correct to fetch on the upkeep.
Yeah.
Okay, but this gives Michael the win, right? So Michael just goes Council's Judgment, attack. Okay.
Yeah, that's the line that I was talking about during Michael's turn, that this might buy him a little bit of time if it wasn't for the Council's Judgment, exactly.
And actually, it doesn't even work because Michael will just like not use the last Rashidun port. So if Anuraag returns the Batterskull with the floating mana, then he'll just port him. And if he doesn't return it, then he loses the mana. So it doesn't even look like this is going to work.
Yeah. I think Anuraag is thinking about like whether it does make sense to even return the Batterskull if he does have any more outs. And he chose not to return it because he also saw that line and saw that it's not getting him anyway.
Yeah. And it's pretty smart by Michael. He ports during the draw step.
Yeah.
So Anuraag knows he's dead.
Yeah, 2 lands in hand, and that's it. GG, well played.
Yeah. Pretty exciting to see a Death and Hexes master. Hard at work, and he gets through.
Yeah. That was an interesting match. I can see why you wanted to do the commentary on this one. It was quite an interesting matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at all the other decks, and they were like all combo decks. So I was like, well, this one's actually to be highly interactive. And it was.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, yeah, we have the bracket is. I just played the whole bracket. I know the bracket. Yeah, it was Storm, Devon, Texas, Sneak and Show, and Blue White Control. True. So this was the only fair matchup, basically.
Cool. Do you know what's next?
I don't, but I can look it up. Next one's going to be your...
Yeah, looks like Romario versus Michael. So Tess versus Death and Taxes. Yeah, this is an interesting matchup too. I think because Michael knows the matchup, he knows how important Thalia is.
Yeah.
But Romario knows that too, so he might just blind therapy Thalia. So yeah, I don't know. This will be interesting to see how it goes. I think Tess is a little bit faster than Ant, so it should be a little bit favored in this matchup. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
And then I think some other people are coming in for commentary.
Yeah, that's right. So it was a pleasure being with you. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, you as well.
All right. See you. Take care and bye.